I'm Celeste Martinez, and welcome to Intellectual Disabilities and the Medical Caregiver, an asynchronous instructor-led Blackboard module. This module was based on an asynchronous learner-directed Captivate module created by Jim for use in his workplace. Our initial intention was to create an accessible version of the Captivate module. However, after much elbow grease and many bells and whistles, we discovered that Captivate was not the best tool to use to create accessible content. So we decided that instead of focusing on the form, we wanted something functional. So we went back to the drawing board and we decided to simplify things and to go with less information, better presented. And for that, we thought Blackboard was the ideal tool. It was also in line with the principles that we chose. And just on a sidebar, Jim and I felt strongly that we wanted to create a project that would help enhance the learning that we've done in this course on disabilities. So that's why we chose intellectual disabilities for this module. Let's take a look at the principles that shaped our module. The first being equitable use. We knew that by using Blackboard, it is an accessible platform, so a wide variety of learners would be able to use it in a very inclusive way and in a very discreet way. So if you needed to use assistive technology, you could do so in the privacy of your home or your office. Your coworkers need not know, but you can learn in a way that's comfortable for you and private as well. The second was flexibility in use. We like the fact that Blackboard enables learners to customize the interface and create an interface that resonates with them and their learning needs. The second thing is simple and intuitive. Guys, we use this software every single week, and Valerie uses it with her assistive technology. So we figured by picking something that everyone was familiar with, you could sit back, relax, and learn. Next is tolerance for error. We didn't want you to feel that you needed to have special knowledge or skills to be able to learn with us. We just wanted you to have an open mind and to come as you are. And lastly, low physical effort. Thanks to MS Word and the styles, we were able to create PDFs that could be used with JAWS and other assistive technologies. And we enabled learners to be able to magnify the content. We included closed captioning for hearing impaired people, so that way people could use the module quickly, easily, and comfortably. I'm sure I have your interest peaked, so let's take a look. If you take a look at the opening page of the module, it's very clean and simple. We use contrasting colors, so green highlighter, black text on a white background. We also have a text pad that has 3 sentences basically describing the name of the module, the duration of the module, which is 30 minutes, and the goal, which is to help familiarize you with some of the communication challenges that clinicians and intellectually disabled people face when interacting. And since JAWS is able to read text, we knew that this wouldn't be a problem for visually impaired students. And because we only use 3 sentences, it keeps things pretty simple for learners with processing issues. We kept the navigation equally as simple. The course name is at the top of the screen, and it's also the same name as the module, which is beneath it. Underneath that, we have information, followed by content, discussions, tools, and help. In order to ensure that our content met the needs of a diverse body of learners, we decided to nest everything in folders, just like Valerie does every week. Why? Because people with processing challenges like Asperger's and autism would be able to navigate through the organization very quickly, and also JAWS and screen readers would be able to tab through so that the learner could find what they need. We also decided to keep things simple and intuitive, as I said, by adopting a similar format to our class. So the top folder is Absorb and Do, underneath it is Connect, and beneath that is Evaluate. And on the front of each folder is the learning objective for that particular piece of the module, as well as the assistive technologies that are supported by the resources within the folder. Let's take a look at the Absorb and Do folder, and I'd like to highlight our videos. Jim and I were very proud of the fact that we decided to use YouTube. I know it sounds silly, right? But we figured that we didn't want people becoming frustrated with buffering speeds, and we didn't want to run the risk that if the buffering was very slow, that the captions might not marry with the audio, which could be very distracting and disruptive to certain types of learners. Another thing that we did, although I tell you guys this was a labor of love, we decided to do all of our own captioning by hand so that we can ensure that the translation, or rather that the transcripts, were accurate and properly synced. I'll give you an example. This video that I'm showing you here is an example of an automatic caption in YouTube. And the top line reads, "His mother Deborah just raps key says," all separately spelled out as words. What it should read is, "His mother Deborah Jisrapsky," that was her last name. But YouTube doesn't pick up on those subtle nuances, and you run the risk of really inhibiting learning for people that are relying on these captions, such as English as a second language people, or hearing impaired learners, or learners that need to have the backup of text and audio simultaneously. That being said, let's get back to our module. Oops, sorry everyone. Another thing, that I forgot to mention is we didn't want people having to wrestle with the challenge of accents, as you can hear.
I'm just terrible at it. And then the maths is a bit harder. I'm better at maths than my twin brother.
As you can see, this young lady has a pronounced Australian accent, which might not be a problem for many people, but for someone who's hearing impaired and listening to the audio, or someone, again, who doesn't speak English very well, that could spell disaster. So we want our learners we want to set them up for success. Another thing that we chose to do was in our Connect section, we chose to provide learners with the opportunity to create, or rather to evaluate, whether the materials adhere to the principles that we're setting forth in our course. So in our Connect activity, we ask learners to evaluate a video, and we offer the video in two formats. We offer it as a YouTube, captioned, and also in a transcript that is accessible by a screen reader, so that the learner feels they have multiple options depending on what their needs are, even on that particular day. Another feature that we thought would be important to add was to provide learners with the opportunity to submit their assignments in a way that was conducive to their learning needs. So for this particular Connect activity, we gave people the opportunity to post the answer to the discussion group either in a text format, in audio, or as a video, and to respond to their classmates in kind, so that they felt that they could be themselves and focus on sharing their ideas, not struggling through how they were going to share the ideas. In our Evaluate section, we asked learners to take the learnings from the previous segments in the module and to translate them, or to synthesize them and demonstrate understanding of the concepts. And we did this by asking the learners to use job aids that we created for the Connect section to create a checklist job aid for them to use on the job. But we wanted, again, to make learners feel comfortable. So we gave the learners the option of creating a checklist either in text, in images, infographics, or a combination, to make something that would be a true job aid that would work for them. And again, we asked them to create an explanation of their design choices and to submit it in either audio, video, or text, whatever works best for them. So that is our module in a nutshell. Thank you so much for joining us for Intellectual Disabilities and the Medical Caregiver. It has been a pleasure learning from all of you this semester. Thank you for sharing, for letting us share. Thank you, Valerie, for opening up our eyes to a new way to design and a new way to learn. And I feel confident that going forward, accessibility is not going to be something that I leave at the back of my designs. It's going to be the very first thing that I think of. So thank you again, and best of luck in the program. Cheers.